Is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, cloud swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. I think we have consumer sentiment. I think it's the Fed consumer sentiment today at 10. I think that's the only real news. Like I said, it is a light news week. I think we got jobs numbers Friday to affect the markets. And then other big news is debates, earnings season probably coming around the corner again, but we'll see what happens. Uh, we start getting a little heavier, a little deeper into July, but yeah, pretty light news, and we're just kind of going through the flows of the market. But we got Albert in the house. Good morning to you. We got Cindy D. Good morning to Jay. Joe Lou is in the house. Good morning, Martina, Matthew, Tim. We got Tim Thurman rocking with us. Good morning to Frank. Santilla, all my peeps at YouTube land, all my lurkers in the background of YouTube. It's okay, I still love you. Hit that like and subscribe button. Little bit of a gap up on the SPY today. So we do have a gap and go. Problem with it is you do have pretty good resistance right above us. So the first one comes from yesterday's VPOC. Yesterday was not a great close. We got up through those previous resistance that we talked about yesterday morning. We got pushed right back down. We closed pretty bearish. So I don't know how much of this market wants to. I don't know how much of a bullish sentiment there is so far. The only thing we could do is try to get some hopium for some bulls. We'll get a Fibonacci starting somewhere down there. We'll go up here. That was just under the 50% retracement, but we did close underneath it. So probably more than likely 541.89 is a better bounce spot if we're going to. And then we do have some VPOCs a little bit lower than that, which I don't want to see a close down there. I'd rather see a wick and then we close back to 618 to kind of keep that trend alive. But we are just letting those moving averages catch up. We've now been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days essentially in the same range from this gap. So haven't really made too much progression, too much moves lately. And again, that is a little bit of a inverted hammer from yesterday, so a little bit more bearish edge to it. And we did close pretty strong. So I think that this support or this resistance might be a little tough. Might be 544.24, somewhere in that zone. Could be a little challenging. If we are able to get above that, the next spot would be 545.78. But I think with us getting through that resistance yesterday, we hit that resistance yesterday. If we are able to start climbing, we'll go a little bit higher. We'll go 544.40, something like that. If we start getting above those zones, at least we're above the opening price from yesterday. We're definitely with this gap and go. We got that little extra bullish sentiment, and we've already broken through that once. So that might be a little bit easier, but I do think that resistance probably is going to weigh in a little bit today. So see if the market could kind of climb up there. Probably looking to remain to go maybe a little bit short. At least give the market some time, I think, just to see if we want to get through some of those levels. And then target for me, it's not a huge range down, but 541.17 is decent. And then we got one more untested VPOC somewhere down at 539.69. So we'll see. We'll see. Probably a little chop, but that resistance I think plays out. Pretty strong today. Qs. We got the Qs. That is above yesterday's VPOC, almost smack in the middle of yesterday's candle. It is a gap and go. So we do have a little bit of potential bullish sentiment. It's a good location. We'll have to see where this one actually wants to open. So I have somewhere around 476.06 right now. We're at 476.29. So we are slightly above that. So make that bull case. Target to the higher side. Next resistance, I would say, is probably 477.27. Not sure if that's a really strong one. Bigger resistance on this one is 479.81. That has been hit yesterday as well. So we had a really good retest right off of it. The bears came in. They pushed this thing right back down. Strong close on the Qs yesterday as well. Right into that support. I think we got a little tiny wick down there right into that support. So that has been retested. So if you are saying we're going bullish from here and we like everything bullish, which The longer term trend is bullish, so I get you. I get you. I just think we might need a little bit more chop from here. We'll see. We'll see. TLT, let's see if they're buying any of this. TLT, hanging in the higher range for, I guess, as of late. When is this? This is back in March. So back into March levels, just kind of hanging out, consolidating, building a little pressure. That could be good for some of the IWM, some of the small cap, some mid cap. If we get that break from here, that might be a little sentiment that we do think that interest rates will continue to, well, not continue, but I guess to start to drop. So we'll see. And then the big news where everything is kind of not, I wouldn't say big news, but everything is kind of just playing off of and has been for a while is Nvidia. So Nvidia, 3 days in a row of a pullback. I don't think we've seen, when was the last time we saw 3 days, 3 red days on Nvidia? I might have to go back a while for this one. That was close. It's a little inside candle. I guess here, back February, and two of those red candles are just inside days from here. So realistically, back to like February. So it's been a while. Been a while since we saw 3 red days. Obviously, this is now coming after quad witching. We are holding that 20. We closed below it, so not great, but with today's gap, that's decent. There's probably some people, we talked about this in the room yesterday. 120 feels like such a good price for Nvidia. It feels like a really good price on Nvidia. You're like, hey, I can get Nvidia at $120, but you have to multiply that by 10 to really know where you're buying it at. So if you're like, hey, 1200 is a really good price, then 120 is a good spot to kind of jump in if you don't want to miss it. And I'm not jumping in here yet. I'm just waiting. I'm okay. Kind of, I feel like I still missed most of this. I don't own shares of it. Don't have it in the long term. But if you do want some Nvidia, somewhere around that 120 price, that was a decent spot where I think some bulls are looking to probably buy it up. That's the split price. And after we split, we ran right up to about 140. So made $20 per share, which is a really, really good move. So I think this is still more just pullback more than anything. But that 120 price would be attractive. And if you do start buying piece in, nibble some on Nvidia, that's great. I want to see it a little bit closer to this $100 range for me. And I know Nvidia bulls not gonna be happy, but kind of under that 100. We'll see. But we do have a gap and go, still inside day. We are above yesterday's VPOC. So watch this 120, see if we could bounce back into this 120.12. That should be some kind of support for today. And then if that starts breaking, we're looking at the lowest day for Nvidia from yesterday. See if we get a little bit further of a pullback on this one. But this is going to, and you saw the rotation yesterday where some of the smaller cap names have been moving up while Nvidia was down 5% on the day. So there is a little bit of money just kind of moving around, and we'll see if this is enough of a dip for a long-term substantial bounce on Nvidia. And if this 120, we look at this a week from now, we're like, yeah, that was a good price. So that's what I'm saying. It's tough. I don't want to be buying Nvidia at 1200. The company makes money, so it's not like it's not a complete GameStop type situation. There's actually some financials behind it. We got Scintilla says dollar cost average in Nvidia now costs 127. Scintilla says she bought at 120. You're saying your dollar cost is at 127? Yeah. The other strategy too with Nvidia, if you guys want to play around with Nvidia, is where I wouldn't be opposed because the premium is still good on Nvidia. Is if you're buying close to 120, as long as you're buying in lots of 100 shares, it's not a bad strategy to sell maybe like the 127s, 128s. Worst case, you make $800 per share plus whatever you sold those calls for. It is a bullish stock, crazy bullish trend. This would be one to constantly sell those calls against, and as long as you're getting taken out at a higher price than you got in, you should be okay. So I wouldn't mind that strategy at all, realistically. But if if you like it, if you love Nvidia and you like, I don't want to ever sell my Nvidia positions, I'd make sure you go much higher. Maybe you might need a little more time on those calls that you want to sell. Let's go back to C Limited. C Limited with a little bit of a gap down into a little bit of support. We're actually kind of underneath that support, so that's not great. I'd be looking for some kind of resistance around 73.08. You got 73.66 is another resistance on it. It is a gap and go from yesterday, from yesterday, but that green candle is just really more inside day. If this wants to get a pullback, which I think we are trapping some bulls, decent amount of bulls, so it's not horrific. Let's see if where's the 50% retracement on this one? Maybe we get, I don't know if this happens today. It could. We're right at that 20 EMA. So I would like to see this get bought up a little bit and then maybe get held somewhere around 73.53 before we start pulling back. Target on this one would be probably to that 50% retracement, 71.20. So you have a little bit of room to the downside on this one. I do like the fact that we just kind of took out that hammer. It's been all green candles all the way up, so trend definitely bullish. And I think as we start to kind of come back up, make the appearance that we're going to close the gap, I think we start to maybe get some profit taking in here. Did they have wasn't earnings, they had news. Yeah, thanks. Slips after JP Morgan downgrades on reduced e-commerce potential. All right. That's the buzz. But I would not short right at open. I'd see if we get a little bounce in there first. Let's get this one higher on the list. Probably have to wait a little bit, but I think probably playing it to the bearish side after a little pop could be fun. Let's see, TSM. Gap and go on TSM right. No, it's not yesterday's VPOC. Yesterday's VPOC is lower. That did come in. We closed the gap on it. There was some news from She yesterday. If I'm saying his name correctly, I think so. She, yeah. That they're trying to focus into some of the tech stocks, trying to help save some of them. But we got TSM, nice little bounce on that one. Didn't quite make it down to the 20, but that is a good retest spot at least. Still inside day. So again, if this one pulls back a little bit, I wouldn't mind trying to play this one bullish. Probably not at open. I would like to see a little pullback first, and then if we're going to try to go bullish. That's if Nvidia wants to, which Nvidia is gapping as well, so maybe. Let's see. Yeah, so DJT gapping up. We got FedEx, FDX. FedEx. Nice breakout candle yesterday. Into a little resistance. We got a little higher price target on this one, 258.41. And then if it really wants to do something fun, 265.04. They do have earnings coming out soon, don't they? We had the divvy. Monday was the ex-divvy date, so there was some people probably jumping in for that. And then we have Tuesday the 25th. So is that today? Did they report yet? Oh, it's nighttime. Okay. So they're going to report after the bell. Not a interesting play into earnings, to be honest. It's not at all-time highs. We got a lot of room to go. I feel like the last few consumer sentiment reports were a little bit to the weaker side, though. We'll have to see, but you do have a higher low coming in here. Again, the technical is not going to matter so much as soon as that report comes out, but we've seen buying the dip mostly on the tech though, or buying it up into the earnings has been good. I want to really qualify FedEx as tech. but we are above all moving averages. Maybe we can get this one to push a little bit higher today. And just be prepared that there is earnings tonight. So if you're planning on a swing, be very, very careful on it. But great consolidation. We had a good breakout yesterday. Maybe get a small little pullback somewhere at open, and then see if a little bit later today we can get that run up into earnings. Maybe some people want to go bullish. Not a horrific spot to be long on FedEx. DJT jumping again. We talked about this one yesterday, and then it opened and just ran without. We tried to get an order out there, and then we just missed it, which is fine. But we did close at the 200. Again, I think this is going to be a almost buy the rumor, sell the news type setup. So we still have two, including today, we got 3 more days till the debate, and I think we probably continue to remain slightly bullish. This is a retest gap. That 200 would be a great bounce spot if we get some selling. So somewhere around 34, 39. But I do think we probably get some continued run up just into the debate. And then after the debate, my guess would be we kind of get that relief, sell off, profit taking, and just wait for the next Donald Trump news or next debate or whatever happens from that point. But DJT still looks fairly bullish. Great double bottom. Would have to see some kind of a pullback for me to get in. So somewhere around that 34, 24 zone. 34 and change would be good. CCL. I don't have what the earnings were, but it looks like it is coming out today. So not sure if they're released. It looks like it is probably. Let's see. Yeah, I don't have the numbers in TradingView yet. But pretty good gap. You are into some resistance on this one. Let me see if the news wants to. There we go. The news is gonna. No. What did it say? Didn't load very well. Oh, looks like that didn't go very well. Oh, shucks. But Carnival, full year 24 adjusted net income about 1.55 billion. I feel like everybody I know is going on a cruise, and some not necessarily Carnival, but everybody I know, they're like, yeah, we're going on a cruise. So I feel like the industry is kind of rampaging back. I don't know if they're seeing profits yet. Carnival continues to experience strong booking momentum driven by record booking volumes for 2025. Yeah, everybody seems to want to get on that boat. Carnival operating income 560 million raised. All right. On a fundamental basis, Carnival still has a ton of debt from 2020. So I kind of want to see if they're chewing through some of that debt first for long-term investment purpose. But this is a little bit of a retest. You do have pretty decent resistance right above us. It's already starting to fade now. Look for your first little level. See if you get back down to the 1651. That might be a good spot to start looking. And then if you start hitting the 1641, that's probably a much better entry spot just in terms of risk to reward. But it is starting to push a little bit to the bullish side. We just got a little buying into that report first, and then the news is out. So you're telling me they got a 10.9% short float? Really, their short float is that high? I'm actually thoroughly shockzillaed. Now, if they could only get in the GameStop business and sell video games. Where's Roaring Kitty on this one? Where's his posts? It's good short float. All right, we'll see if we get a high wave candle. Maybe we'll try it. Maybe we'll try it. 10% is a good one. I kind of like it. Could do some little bit of wild things. We got Uber. Uber with the gap up. Looks like they got news as well. Uber Technologies maintained as overweight by Piper Sandler. Like Piper Sandler has more say in the market than they let on. It's a good gap. Also retest. You got first little resistance 72.56. So if you are going to trade it, just be cautious of that. Uh, we closed the gap, so all of this, we had one strong gap up, came back, retested, got a nice little high wave. That would have been a good one to play. The only real resistance I see on this one is about 72.56, and that is at a higher pivot than the previous. So I think that one has the ability to get taken out. Again, we might need a little pullback, high wave candle, something like that first. And then we got 73.26. And then probably final target for today, maybe about 74.08, unless it wants to do something real crazy. But it's got a little bit of room. We'll scoot that one up. Decent gap though. I want to find one of those gaps that have like a lot of room on it. We got Disney, DIS. Hmm. Hmm. Been chopping sideways for a while. Does look like a little inverted head and shoulders. Not horrific. That was a good retest into that 200. So my assumption would be if you want to try to take a swing, again, day trade would be a little bit different, but you're gonna want to swing trade basis, probably look to take the breakout of that high from yesterday. I go bullish entry here somewhere, maybe a few pennies higher. Something like that. And then you could get stops somewhere down here. And that's a little bit of a tighter stop. If you want to go down somewhere 99.73, I think there's still enough room for you to do that. But that would be your swing trade if you want to set that up, just kind of playing that inverted head and shoulders. That's also, it's kind of like the 10 EMA we play all the time, except the 200 EMA, which is pretty strong. I'm gonna have to start watching this Diz. Day trade basis. Still inside day, so see if we can get a little pullback first, somewhere in this 102.48 zone. And then again, another really strong spot, and I don't think we get there today, but 102.08, I think 102.28 would probably be almost max pain for today on some kind of pullback. But I do think probably people are looking for a little bit of a probably bullish reversal. Looking for that gap fill up there on the Diz. That's a strong head and shoulders. Did we close this gap too? We got very close if we didn't close it. I think we did. Yeah, it looks like we almost closed that gap too. Not bad. Not bad. If it's going to bounce, it's got to do it soon. But we are above that 200, so definitely move this one higher on the list, even as a day trade. Um, Day trade basis, probably want to wait for a pullback, try to get it somewhere a little bit lower. Even 50% of yesterday's candle would be good. But yeah, that has the ability. That ability. IBIT is up. Not sure what IBIT is. Is that a ticker? Bitcoin Trust. Yeah, crypto was kind of low-key dying yesterday. Life support. I mean, not so much Bitcoin. Like it's still down, but a lot of the smaller names, they were all getting clapped. That's kind of a really good gap on Bitcoin ETF. Still inside day again. We're just at the opening price again, so maybe trapping some of those bears. BTC USD. Again, we broke down the. I mean, what's interesting here is we were talking about the 618 zone. See if that could hold. As soon as that broke, we're like, okay, well, probably next stop back into the 61.78. So we hit that. We have the 200 to hold us up. I don't know where Bitcoin is in 10 years from now. I have no idea. So the bullish cases are like, hey, this is going to be $1 million asset. Okay, so if you want to believe that, this pullback into the 200 is a fairly good pullback to survive. The scary part on this one is there's not a lot of resistance on the way down. So the next spot, and that kind of actually lines up into that 1618. So that would be about as if I can't see on my chart. I got too many lines. 52. Yep. So we got 52 849 would be the next stop down, and then even that's kind of a smaller one. So we could see back to 40,991 on the bear case. I think that's very, very possible. If you think Bitcoin goes to zero, you're probably not buying any Bitcoin anyway. Doesn't really matter. But yeah, for the bulls, or if you're looking for a trade, you got that 200 as support. We did come down for full 100% retest. Right now, we're just hanging out inside, and we are just at yesterday's VPOC as well. So this is kind of a big area that we got to break through. But so far, we got to bounce where we had to. Got to start somewhere. Got to start somewhere. All right, let's check out a few more. Tesla, I did see bouncing today. I'm just waiting for Tesla to break out of this little range that it's in. And we're just, so this is the gap and go as well. Obviously, we're building a lot of pressure. We tried to break out yesterday. Got pushed right back down, closed pretty bearish. That's a bearish candle. Not a lot of bulls coming in, stepping in toward the end of the day. But all of that, we are just kind of retesting this 182.12. So as long as we hang on to that, I have my big volume zone somewhere around 184.26. We've been bouncing around that one all pre-market as well. So we'll see if we can get above it. We do have yesterday's VPOC, so maybe the first little support that we want to watch for is about 184.01. Anything past that, I think could get a little bit more ugly for Tessie, kind of coming down. Maybe we do eventually hit that 182 perfectly. We'll see. But if we start getting opens or pushes above 834, 834. My mind is shot. 184. We'll go with that. 184.31. Next tiny resistance, which we did hit, 184.72. That would take us up to 186.58, which from yesterday's candle, we already hit that one as well. And I think that we get some really good bullish sentiment in buying now anywhere past yesterday's open. So watch that 185 zone, see if we get back up there. But all depends on where this one wants to open and if we could start to climb up. But we are just consolidating. I think this is still looking at the moment fairly bullish. And we'll see. See if that one wants to get a break. AMD was showing some strength yesterday. So obviously at open, we started to dip. Kind of came back, went green. Then toward the end of the day, started to sell. Still looks like it closed green on the day, but down from yesterday's. So we'll see if there's a little more strength into this one as well. Just maybe NVIDIA could give it a boost. It was doing the opposite of NVIDIA yesterday. We'll see. But that is the opening bell. So everybody on YouTube land, I appreciate you joining us each and every day. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button and be safe in the market. I'll catch you.